Welcome to Close Up Radio, where our hosts, Doug Llewellyn and Jim Masters, bring you the amazing stories of people who answered the call to unlock their potential and taken control of their own success with authenticity, creativity, persistence, and resilience. Close Up Radio special guests share their knowledge and wisdom so you, the listener, can live the most empowered life possible. Close Up Radio. And now, here's today's host, Doug Llewellyn.
Well, thank you so much. Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Llewellyn. Nice to have you with us today. We are going to speak to an extraordinary coach today, a unique coach. We're actually going to be talking to a lifestyle empowerment coach. Now, some of you may not understand what a lifestyle empowerment coach is. Let me explain. A very good definition says a lifestyle empowerment coaching is an effective process to support individuals in creating something new and beneficial for themselves. With a lifestyle empowerment coach, you are provided with a perspective and support for self-knowledge as you accomplish your lifestyle goals and desires. Your mission in life is empowerment through committed action, and you're provided lifestyle empowerment coaching with dignity and respect for your intrusions as you and your coach together engage in a dialogue that provides you with new insights and new skills that will help affect your ongoing life and change in your life and will empower you to live a healthful, meaningful, purposeful, and authentic life. That's what a lifestyle empowerment coach is. We have an excellent lifestyle empowerment coach with us today. She's back with us for another broadcast. She was a guest here a week ago on Close Up Talk Radio. Her name is Rhonda Farrah, and if you heard that broadcast, you know she is a remarkable woman and has an amazing story. The basic part of her story is she was a PTA mom who found herself in prison for 6 years. And after going to prison, incarceration, and financial ruin, and then through cancer and divorce, she emerged empowered. And we're going to find out more about it. If you didn't hear that broadcast, that's okay. You're going to learn more from Rhonda today because we're going to talk a little bit about that again and then talk about how she helps people as an empowerment coach. She has a fabulous website. I love the name. It's helpmerhondanow.com. You remember that song, Help Me Rhonda. Anyway, helpmerhondanow.com is her website. You're encouraged to go there and follow along. I think you'll find it very, very amusing, to say the least. Anyway, her name is Rhonda Farrah. And Rhonda, how are you? Nice to have you with us today. Welcome back. Welcome back to Close Up Talk Radio.
Thank you so much, Doug. It's my pleasure to be here again. Thank you for the invitation for yet part two of our broadcast. I'm very pleased to be here, so thank you.
For folks who didn't hear you before, it's almost impossible to tell your story without explaining a little bit of what I meant by saying you were a PTA mom who ended up in jail. Gee was just thinking about that. It seems tragic. I know you never thought that was going to happen to you, but let's talk a little bit about your background, which all, of course, helps, contains what you bring to the table as a lifestyle empowerment coach. There aren't many coaches that I've talked to who have the kind of background you have and that you bring to your ability to teach and help other people. So, and I'm sure it's amazing, to say the least. But let's talk a little bit about it. When you started out in life, what were your goals? What you wanted to do? What did you study?
I would love to talk about that, because most of the time I'm asked, what has brought you to what you do? And
exactly.
I'm going to give you a capsulized version. I grew up on the East Coast in Connecticut, largely a traditional family and home. I had a stay-at-home mom and a dad who preferred that mom stay at home. I'm the oldest of three brothers, one sister, dad, as well as primarily until the age of about 8 years old, Doug, I was living in an extended family. Some people know what that is, but I was living with my grandparents, aunts, great aunts, my parents, my brothers, my sisters, all in one household. And I really believe it was there that I formed a sense of wanting to be a nurturer, to nurture and help to serve others. And being the oldest of three brothers and one sister, and having a very nurturing mom and dad, as well as all the female influences that surrounded me at a very early age, that all totally contributed to me wanting to help and be in service to others. Educationally, I have a Master of Arts in Educational Counseling Psychology, a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology, membership in the International Coaching Federation. However, Doug, having come out empowered on the other side of my own personal challenges to include what you mentioned, incarceration, cancer, the very debilitating effects of divorce, financial ruin, as well as losing my sense of self. That was all a major contribution and essential to helping me provide my life goal, which is to help others conquer their most negative habits and build new and successful, healthy lives for themselves. And I am a coach. I'm also an alchemist, a lifestyle empower alchemist. And what an alchemist does, it's the act of changing one thing from one state into another, okay? So I get to help people change, well, first of all, ascertain, ID, uncover, know what they want, and change those things that are adverse or challenging, that not-so-good stuff, into opportunity, rather than have it not serve us. And we've all been there. Just because I'm a lifestyle empowerment coach, I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I am not immune, as you can see, with my list of challenges that I needed to overcome. So, again, that in a nutshell, that is how I came to do what I do, and why I really refer to myself as an alchemist and a coach.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, obviously. Talk a little bit about your you're highly educated. How did it happen that you ended up being incarcerated in prison? What got you there? People obviously are wondering.
Sure. As a matter of fact, Jim mentioned last week, boy, did people's ears, they must have perked up when we used the term incarceration. You went PTA mom, and now you find yourself in, it's not jail, it was prison, let's face it. And this was a nonviolent, non-drug-related crime, and my ears really perked up, too, when on a federal indictment in August of 1998, I saw on a federal indictment, United States of America versus Rhonda Farrah. That's pretty daunting. Wow. I got there because I made some very poor choices. But again, it led me to what I do today. It was part of it, a major part of it. And it also led us to have this conversation that we're having today to let people know that they are not alone. At the time, 77% time I was incarcerated, 77% of the world, people, had either been incarcerated, known someone who was incarcerated, had a family member or a friend that was incarcerated. So my point is that we're not alone, whether it's incarceration, whether it's divorce, whether it's cancer, financial ruin, any of the above. Okay, we are not alone. So that's the message. Briefly, I was incarcerated for 72 months in a women's federal prison camp, and part of a work cadre where I was actually out Monday through Friday, learning about my sense of self and doing gardening on the Presidio in San Francisco. Yeah. So, what did I learn from all this? I learned my sense of self, my purpose, that, number one, we were all in this together regardless of race, of religious affiliation, of body type, of nationality, and I was meant to serve. And that's where I was planted in a women's federal prison camp, which pivoted me right back to my essence, being of service to others.
Let me ask you this. In the world of business or career-wise, how much experience had you had before you ended up going to prison? I mean, did you have an active working life, as a functioning business person?
Yes, as a psychotherapist, and also in the real estate arena, buying and selling of properties, things like that. But I became intrigued by this system of bank debentures and was really educated by the wrong people. Again, poor choices. I take full responsibility for not doing my due diligence the way I should have. And I just was in a place that, wow, you're absolutely right. In the book I'm writing, I refer to my incarceration as the disease one thinks they would never get. At that time, I was referring to cancer. Of course, that became a reality too. But thank God, through all these struggles, these challenges, this adversity, this not so good stuff, I was able to take the blessings and the gifts and understand that I'm okay. I'm okay. I am enough. I am important. What I say and what I do matters. Yes, I needed to make some life changes. I needed to go deep within because it is an inside job, Doug, whatever it is, wherever we want to go in life. Understand it's an inside job. That's where we begin. Stop looking at the external people around you, the circumstances, the situations or events that are going to save us or put us where we need to be. We need to be committed to putting in the work, to understanding it is an job.
Well, let me ask you, how did being incarcerated change your life? I mean, people can imagine, but you experienced it. How would you answer that?
I would answer that quite candidly. It changed my life in so many ways. First of all, there was a fear right there, United States of America versus Rhonda. Okay, there's a fear there. And my whole world was really, I was in a world that now was so surreal to me that it took about a year of standing that, no, this wasn't going to change anytime soon. Every motion, everything to get out of where I thought I didn't belong. Every time I hit the phone against the wall saying to lawyers, family, friends, get me out of here, I don't belong here. One day I had an aha moment. I call it my God breath. I stopped hitting the phone against the wall. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I said, okay. That began my journey of peeling back this onion, this skin of losing my sense of self and understanding Rhonda was in there somewhere. So that became the journey of how I changed. When I surrendered, I just said, okay, what do I have to do in so many words? God, what do I have to do? I began to write. I began to read a lot. I became an advocate for my fellow female inmates to lead a better life than they were leading. And, I loved it. I was teaching. I was pivoted back to where I was supposed to be. So even though in the beginning I thought I wasn't supposed to be there, I was exactly where I was supposed to be, and I refer to it that I had to be incarcerated in order to be liberated, in order to find my sense of self once again, if I ever knew what it was. This was very sober, it was very awakening. So that is how I was helped by taking this thing, incarceration. Oh my goodness! And believe me, I went through and some shame, lots of guilt. I think it hurt my family more than it ever did me. But I made a conscious decision to be committed to being my highest and best self or something better for the highest and best good of all concerned. And at that time, it was my fellow female inmates.
So the bottom line is you would not be doing today what you're doing had you not gone through that experience. Wouldn't that be right?
That's a surefire yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, it was quite awakening.
Well, I know your story is truly amazing, and we don't have to go through all of that, but it reflects on and it explains the background you bring to your role as a lifestyle empowerment coach. So let's talk a little bit about how you help people and what people come to you for. What are they looking for when they come to you for help? Again, I want to repeat, you have this great website. It's Help Me Rhonda Now. .com. I have it right. There was a song, right? Isn't that right? Help Me Rhonda.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yep. So anyway, helpmerhondanow.com. Who are the types of folks who come to you? Mostly women, I would presume. Am I right on that?
Yes, mostly women. I welcome anyone, but mostly women and audiences 45 plus in age. And what I help people do is, again, uncover what it is they want. And oftentimes we need to start with, well, what don't you want? What's not serving you? And how can we take that and transmute it, transform it into something that will serve you? So that whole identification process it can go as easily or as much more difficultly than we think it can. So with respect to what I do is I help people get unstuck, which is where I was. Of course, I was put in a major timeout for 6 years so I could get unstuck and find my sense of self. So what we want means we need to go within and get unstuck. We need to say, no, this crap is really not serving me anymore. I am better than this. So what do I want, and what's it going to take for me to get there? So I have a toolbox, which we'll go over a couple things in a while. With respect to getting unstuck and to living a lifestyle that's empowered, living the life that we desire rather than settling for less year after year. We've all done it. And living life in default mode. So life is not happening for us in that case. It's happening to us. So let's have it happen for us.
Well, let me ask you how your background as a trained psychotherapist helps you in the role of being a life empowerment coach. I would assume that you know that brings something to your bag of tricks, so to speak, that other lifestyle empowerment coaches probably don't have. At least that's my assumption. Am I right?
If I'm not sure what the statistic is, who has that back in psychotherapy, but I do know that as a trained psychotherapist, it provided me, not just educational-wise, but I have plenty of practicum hours and had private practice with a consortium in Connecticut. It provided me with the skills, the talents, and the abilities, my toolbox, I call it, to open the toolbox and say, okay, how can I help this person get unstuck? How can I help them identify where it is they want to be? And one thing being a psychotherapist taught me was, no disrespect to anybody in the industry, taught me that it's not the last 20 or 30 years of our lives that we're going to continue to talk about and rehash. I have compassion for everyone. However, the important part is, where are you now? I'll ask a client, and where would you like to be? And I can help you help yourself, because it is not my right nor my obligation to want for someone something for someone that they do not want for themselves. So I help others not only identify what they want, but I help them help themselves to do that, because we have that power.
Typically, when someone comes to you, give me an idea of how they present themselves. What do they say to you that that prompted them to pick up the phone and call you and say, "I need your help"? What's a typical situation? Describe. No names, obviously, just examples.
No.
Okay.
Things are not working for me. Well, talk to me about that. How are they not working for you? Well, everything is going wrong in my life. okay? This is not so atypical, believe it or not. And I say, I can understand that because at one point in my life, everything was going wrong. Nothing seemed to work the way I thought it should be working. So then I repeat to them, well, I think what you really want is to identify what you want. You want things to work in your life? Yes. Are you willing to commit to putting in the time and the effort and being bold and courageous enough to put in that time and effort? And if they say yes, I say, okay, let's begin. And that's usually after about an hour consultation that I've given them. Is this going to work or is it not going to work? Because
right.
I over-deliver, okay, with what I provide for a client. If I'm getting someone who's not taking responsibility, that's extremely debilitating to me. Okay, that is not energizing in any way, shape, or form. I love working with audiences. I love this, whether it's a radio or television. Speaking, we'll go back to that now, in person, because as I am energized, I am positively impacting the lives of others. I am helping them energize themselves, okay, because I'm passionate about what I do, and I love what I do, and I love helping others. So that's the typical, which some people would think that's the atypical person. Nothing is working for me. Well, give me an example of one. Well, my marriage. Well, what do you want in a marriage? Because I'm a bit of an expert on marriage and divorce. Okay. So, and when someone says to me, I just want someone who treats me not as bad as the person I'm with. And I said, really? I said, well, you are capable of accomplishing that. You will attract someone who treats you not as bad. How about listing what you want and the qualities for a life partner? How about doing that? And how are you helping yourself get what you want? In this case, if we're talking about marriage, are you being what you want? Because that's where it begins. If you want joy in your life, be joy to others. If you want love, many people want love, be love. And you know what, Doug? And I always say this, you may not get the love from the person you expect it to come from, but if you are being loved, you're going to be loved. And you're going to be loved probably better than you ever thought. And you will have somebody that treats you like you are important, like you are significant, and that what you say and what you do matters. And that's not just for marriage. That's in business. That's in friendship. That's with our siblings, with our kids. So that's such a capsulized version of how it goes. But I think you're getting my point, and hopefully listeners are getting the point.
Yeah, is it mostly personal life situations that you're called upon to help rather than career situations,
Well, here's the thing. I call it purpose.
Okay.
So what is our purpose? Okay, what is our purpose and how do we get there? What steps do we need to take? There are many people, it has to do with career. In some cases, with respect to, let's put it frankly, with respect to COVID or with respect to people that even retire not because of COVID, where is their sense of self now? My goodness. Where is their sense of self in this whole, I have no more job, I have no more career, I don't go to the office every day. Who am I? I'll tell you, I'm not immune to any of it. When my daughter was growing up and the moms were all together in that PTA, I would say, hi, I'm Amanda's mom. Later on, I said, hey, my name is Rhonda. I happen to be Amanda's mom. But you see how we lose that sense of self? And that's what purpose is. So whether it's career, whether it's a job, whether it's a marriage, whether it's health issues, I deal with some people with health issues as well. It's all a part of who we are. We are in. Those are the bite-sized pieces that make up what lifestyle is.
So give me an example then of how you work with someone who comes and says things just aren't working. I need help. Do you have a playbook of instructions for them that you take them through over a course of several weeks or months to help them get out of the doldrums they're in now and try and improve their life? What kind of things do you do?
Well, every situation is specific. Okay. Every situation is different. I don't have the, what would you call it, this box, like one size fits all. Right. One size doesn't fit all at all. Okay. But there's three elements of what I do. Okay. So lifestyle, I let them understand, first of all, what is lifestyle? Lifestyle is your health, your relationship, all these things that we've been talking about, our sense of self, our career, our purpose, and understand that it's going to take, it's an inside job and not an overnight job either. It's going to take some time, and fortunately or unfortunately, we live in this immediate gratification society. We want to live the life we desire and not settle for anything less overnight, seemingly. I've had clients that are no longer my clients. Living the life we desire is a process. Once we become conscious of that and that it is our responsibility, we're on our way. We're on our way. The second aspect is empowerment. Okay, that has to do with our authentic power from within. We all have it. I call it my godly self, not merely my earthling self, regardless of situation, circumstance, or event. And we've named some of my situations, circumstances, and events. Okay, so how you can become empowered even though nothing in your life is working the way you want it to. You can become empowered if you understand it's a process and if you understand that you have that power within you to do that. And finally, an alchemist. We are all the author, we're the developer, we're the artist, we're the organizer of our life, us. So we choose. So that's the beginning of when I open my toolbox. We got a process going on. Yes, you have authentic power. I can help you help yourself. And you understand that you are that author and the artist of your life. If you choose to be, those are the operative words. If you don't choose to be, that's okay too. But we may not have a coaching relationship because of that.
Yeah, so, that kind of makes sense. So typically, how long do you work with a client? Would it be a matter of weeks or months? 6 months?
Six
Boy,
months.
Yeah.
6 months, but how long did it take? I have people that have weight issues as well, and I need to lose 100 pounds. Well, do you have an 8-week program? I said, well, I have an 8-week program, but how long did it take you to gain 100 pounds? And your health is debilitated, your joints, you're pre-diabetic. And again, I'm not a physician, but I do understand quite clearly that the emotional crap that we are going to is lending itself to our incidence of well-being or disease. Okay. I'm a breast cancer thriver. I know that.
Yeah, we didn't even mention that. That's good.
Yeah,
good
breast
for
cancer
you.
In women is, we don't know how to nourish and nurture ourselves. We're doing it for everyone else. We don't practice self-love and self-care. So,
Rhonda, you've got a great story, and I really thank you for telling us about it. Anybody who interested would go to our website. HelpMeRhondaNow.com. You can remember that. HelpMeRhondaNow.com. Rhonda, we're out of time. Thanks for being with us. It's great talking to you. Okay, Rhonda Farrah.
My pleasure. My pleasure, Doug. Thank you.
Bye now. Okay.
You have been listening to a broadcast from Close Up Radio, a division of Close Up Television Incorporated. For more information about our show and to be considered for future broadcasts, please visit closeuptelevision.com. You may also learn about us on social media and listen to us on podcast and internet radio. Thank you for joining us, and we hope that you have an empowered and productive day.
Well, that's it for this time, everybody. I'm Doug Llewellyn. We'll see you next time. Till then, take care. Bye for now.